I'm really, really looking forward to getting this Storm Arena Kin Masters from Street Fighter Alpha 3. Storm Collectibles said, Jada Toys, you cannot hold on to this domination you've got on the Street Fighter series. We're going to take our figures down to a 6-inch scale. We're going to compete directly with you. And this figure does look like it's some strong competition. I'm wondering which line is going to emerge. Ultimately, it doesn't matter because we're going to win in the end with better and better options for our fighting game figure fix. Let's break down Ken right now. What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. As you can no doubt tell and hear, I'm still fighting off that cold. Maybe I need a little dragon punch to finally knock it out, maybe even a flaming dragon punch. But I'm here recording, talking about this line that I'm very excited about. And I love Street Fighter Alpha 3. I love all the different characters. There's so many go-tos. I think you have like one or two. For me, it was like 8 characters that I really love playing. And the thought of Storm Collectibles actually completing a line, well, that seems like a long shot. But the fact that they're gonna give a Street Fighter Alpha 3 figures definitely has me excited. And they started off with the Fire One himself, Ken Masters. This guy looks really, really good. Very impressed with how this guy turned out. You can see they've got that more anime Street Fighter Alpha design look for him. He's got the bangs all over his face and he looks really good. I'm digging this texture in his outfit. I mean, you can just make it out here. It's really nicely done. The articulation, very much in line with what we see with the larger scale versions of Storm collectible figures. So that double jointed elbow joint, that works really well. The bicep, got the diaphragm, ab crunch, neck has plenty of range here. And he's got, of course, different hand options. I, of course, appreciate that. Let's take a look here at the full rollout of pictures, courtesy of Big Bad Toy Store, the exclusive home for all things Storm Collectibles. I love this backdrop. I love that they include them because if you've got absolutely nothing else to use to stage your fighting game action shots, here you go. You can just use this. And Ken, of course, appropriately has the pool in the background. He's got his victory taunt pose. Peace, or that's a second one for you. And I just love the way this guy looks. The texture on his outfit really is impressive. And before I get into the whole thing of all these pictures of Ken, this is going to be the 4th Ken figure I have in my collection. Not I'm replacing one Ken with another. I am continuing to get more Ken figures, just like I'm continuing to get more Ryu figures. At this rate, they're going to be like Spider-Man and Batman. Every few years, I'm just going to go, well, it's time for my latest addition to the collection of these guys. So, of course, I started out with a Soda Toys Ken, and this figure still holds up. He didn't break like some of the other ones I have, but he's a really good figure. I got the variant with the purple, and I really love that. So you can see the head sculpt, all this detail is really, really well done with this guy. He looks good. And his articulation, I mean, there are some big pins here, but it's a really sharp figure. And he also had a ton of accessories. Soda Toys did really good work with that line. It was just some of the parts, some of the joints became a little brittle over time, and they would fall. It would be a big problem. They would break. So they didn't finish the line either, so I don't have a complete set. Then, of course, Storm Collectibles entered into the arena, and this is from Street Fighter 5. Ken, so he's got his gi pulled down a little bit. He's got his workout shirt up top. I got the variant in blue because that's more my favorite color for Ken, but I thought he looked really good. And of course, the fun thing with the Storm Collectibles regular scale, lots of different options, head sculpts, portraits, accessories. The accessories, I'm always like, wow, you guys thought to include this in here too. And the only thing is that comes with a really expensive price tag. So your average Storm Collectibles figure might run you about $100. You might be able to get one on sale for 77, but you might pay as much as 200 for another one. So it's always this deal of like, okay, they don't release them so often that it's breaking the bank. And when I had the figure in hand, I do feel like I got my money's worth. But having the Storm Arena set up definitely is better because these figures are much cheaper. So you can get four for the price of your average Storm collectible 8-inch figure. And of course, the whole reason for this is Storm Collectibles competitor, Jada Toys. And this little $25 figure is awesome. They did an amazing job with their version of Ken. He looks really good. He also has some great texture, which I am not apparently getting you to see with my camera. There you go. He looks really good. And he doesn't have a ton of accessories, not like your normal Storm Collectibles figure. He's got a different portrait. He's got a fireball effect. He's got swappable hands and a stand. And that's it. But for 25 bucks, it's hard to complain. Ken has amazing articulation. He can pull off so many moves that it's just like, whoa, I can't believe he can do that. So that's part of the fun of this line. They're solid figures. You don't have to worry about anything breaking. They can get down into some deep poses, sink in really well, and all those iconic Street Fighter poses from the game, you can actually pull off and execute, which I love because it's no fun having fighting game figures if you can't pull off all the moves. So that leads me to now Storm Arena in this Ken figure, and he's really encouraging with all the different stuff he's got. So he's got a little bit the best of everything. So you can see this chest kind of reminds me in a lot of ways of what we've seen. Try this window. Let's try this window. There we go. Of the Soda Toys setup. So you can see how they've got all that musculature in the chest, and you can see kind of similar to how it is with the Storm Arena version. Gosh, I'm never gonna get these figures in focus. Anyway, and there it goes. So you can see they're very similar to how that setup is for the Soda Toys figure, which I thought was really interesting. Comparatively, you can definitely see muscles on the Jada Toys figure, but not quite as defined. So that's kind of interesting that we've got that look for him. Focus. There you go. Great. So you can see that. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And let's just break down the rest of these photos. So here, the full look. He doesn't have gigantic feet. So hopefully that won't be a balancing problem. He won't topple over because that could be a real issue. You know, they should have kind of Fred Flintstone, bedrock size feet, but this is okay if he has no problem standing on his own. I love the vibrant red. I think that's another thing that the Jada Toys Ken is fine, but it's not quite this sharp red, which I really dig here. And you can see he's got the long hair. He hasn't cut it yet. He's still got the bandana that he's going, or the tie that he's going to give to Ryu as a bandana to fix his bloody forehead. And this looks really nicely done, like the joints, and you can see he's pinless. And I know for everybody, that's a real issue. Actually, I said pinless. Yes, pinless. Same deal with the Jada Toys figures. So this looks really quality. And you can see you can do all these poses. I mean, of course, if you can't do this taunt, what's the point? So he's at attention, ready to go. I love the head sculpts they use for him. It's not a lot, but it works for him. And you can see this high kick. That's really impressive. You can't hide those joints, but he looks like he's handling that pose just fine. And by the way he's arranged, it doesn't look like they're doing some Photoshop and removing the stand. It looks like something he can actually hold and do on his own. That's encouraging. So then we got another one with the side high kick. Definitely one of my favorite moves. Oh, you want to jump at me? Here you go. To eat this high kick. So that looks good. Doesn't look awkward in that pose either. Let's take a look at this one. Straight high kick. You can see nice range with the foot there and the ankle joint. So that looks solid. And if he's got this stable balance with these feet, which do look a little tiny, I think this is going to be a really solid figure just in terms of posing. So here's the side kick. Nice deal as well as trying to read this fine print. Something going on. Nope, it looks good. And this one I'm really encouraged by the slide, the low kick. And yeah, check out the texture detail on the gi. That's good stuff. The leather like material on the gloves, solid. Doing this, you can see his range with the neck. so it doesn't look like anything's going to impede it. It can hit all kinds of different directions. That's really encouraging because you don't want something where, oh man, his hair is messing everything up. So you can see how they have it curved out here, allows him to hit all these moves without the hair getting in the way. Then there's the side or the kneeling punch. Again, love seeing the actual moves that I pull off in the game being executed so well, so easily with this figure. Here's your hurricane kick. It's got a stand. I'm curious if this is the stand that we'll get with all these Storm Arena figures because the Storm collectible stands are really, really good. I use them for my Marvel Legends, my DC multiverse figures, because they can actually hold the figure up without falling, which is such a novel concept. So he's got that. That looks solid. This is actually not the hurricane kick. This is more like the jumping, punching down kick. Here is our hurricane kick. That looks awesome. So love that and really excited to see this. So here you go. You want a little flaming dragon punch action. Here you go. So there's the accessory. I do like that. That's not like the cone that we've seen from some other things, but this really looks like he's lighting his hand on fire. So I love that. Really looks cool. He's got that determined. I mean, this is straight from the game. Love it. And then a little stand assist so he can go all the way up and hit it. And maybe I could be a little bit bigger, but I think it makes sense because how big are you going to put this into the packaging? So here you go. Nice work. He's got a little smile because he's so pleased with himself on that end. And there you go. He's all set to give Ryu the fist bump and bring it on. I'm ready for you. Let's do the thing. Smiling, a little cocky, love the bangs, hanging there. He's just doing his thing. And speaking of Ryu, here's Ryu's stage because clearly that's not kids. So that's in place, locked in. So you can see he's got that all squared away. He's giving a little noogie action. He didn't do it all for the noogie. So I dig that too. That looks really cool. And this backdrop, again, just being able to pose these figures in their own backdrop is really fun. And a tease, not quite sure why we just got Ken, but okay. Because I think with a fighting game, it makes sense to get both figures that they have available for us right now. But we definitely know Ryu is coming. So here's all the accessories that come with Ken. So you can see we got the smiling portrait, the serious portrait. We got this big stand. Awesome. That's really exciting because the stands that they've done in the past have been amazing. The flaming dragon effect. Then we've got 3 sets of different hand swappable hand options. We got the piece, we got the come on, bring it, got the grab, and of course, we got the fist. So that's really cool. Nice options. Let's compare that to what we're getting from our friends over at Jada Toys. So you can see pretty comparable. This is the stand piece for the flaming Hadouken, the angry sculpt, definitely more classic with the video game look here. And then, of course, your Hadouken throwing hands. So I think in this one, we're seeing that, yeah, looks like the gang over at Storm Arena has a bit more in the accessories front. So that's encouraging. Of course, I wanted to show you this other one that they've released for pre-order, the Baki Hanma, and I'm sure everybody who's a big fan of Son of Ogre will congratulate me for butchering the name. But I just want to run through his articulation just to show you a little bit more from how another Storm Arena figure looks. And he looks really solid, good musculature again. And these guys are really hitting some nice poses. Why don't we just try the arrow? There we go. So you can see in deep stances, that is a really impressive pose. Can Fei Long pull that off when we see him from Storm Arena, from the Street Fighter Alpha 3 line? Can Guy do that? Can all these characters who you'd really want to see do some nice high kicks? But I mean, I think Guy being able to do that would be awesome. So that's the articulation scheme that we're working with all around from this line. Very encouraging stuff. And I just wanted to kind of go like, hey, the one trick, the one problem that we've seen with Storm Collectibles over the years is they forget the lines they start. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to forgive them dramatic toy tuber talk for not completing the main characters in Mortal Kombat. We don't have Jax, Sonya Blade, Johnny Cage, and it just feels like we don't have Sung Shu. It's like, what are we doing? I don't know why we didn't get Melina Katana as well. We did get some random offshoot characters, but it's like the main important human characters we never got from this line. So that was a miss. Hopefully, they'll be focused with Street Fighter Alpha 3. Although I do think it's really ambitious of them to start off with that because, as you can see, there's so many characters from Street Fighter Alpha 3 for them to tackle. I'm sure we're going to see Evil Ryu here with the repaint. So that's an easy one for him. But where else are they going to go with this? We're going to get Charlie or Nash. We're going to get Guile. We're going to get Guy. I guess Dan makes sense because he's an easy repaint as well. Cody, Dawson. I feel like maybe they should avoid the ones that Jada Toys has already done. So let's get Chun-Li in this outfit. Let's do Birdie. Birdie. Kuma we already got. Maybe Vega. That makes sense. Gin. So there's some options. Rose, Rolento, Mission Complete. There's some options. I think it would make a lot of sense for them to tackle those characters first. But then the real trick is that Jada Toys knows how to actually knock out a figure line. So we've seen in New York Comic Con that they've already done every character that you want from your Street Fighter 2 setup. And we've got about half of them in hand now. So we've got Fei Long, DJ, Cammy, M. Bison, Violent Ken, Evil Ryu, Chun-Li, Guile, Ken and Ryu, so in Dawson. So we still, and then we're starting to see people getting the pre-orders in for Sagat, Blanca, I think it's E Honda. So they're rolling. Now, this is my one thing because Storm Arena can be really great with the figures. And then, of course, they get distracted and go on to something else. And it was a little bit worrisome because they've already said, hey, we've got big, bold plans coming. And here are all the different lines that we're going to tackle. So here's what they're also working with in store. So we're going to see Street Fighter Alpha 3, King of Fighters 98 Ultimate Match. We're going to see Darkstalkers and more Son of Ogre characters. How are they going to break this up? How are they going to, navigate doing the different characters? How many figures are we going to see each year? And it's great to get more Darkstalker characters. I never got the Dimitri and Morgan in the larger scale, so I'll probably just wait and get them here. The King of Fighters, there's so many characters to tackle. They could spend years doing that just like they would for Street Fighter Alpha 3. So I'm really curious to see where they go with that. And the price point is solid because Big Bad Toy Store is an exclusive partner. They've decided to charge a little bit more than what Storm Collectibles had on their website. $26.99, supposed to come out the second quarter of 2025. We'll see if that actually is a reality because I'd love to get Ryu soon and see who else is coming relatively quickly because the last thing they need to do is have momentum stalled out where the end of the year hits and we've only got Ken, Ryu, and probably Dan because he's an easy repaint. So we'll see. I'm cautiously very optimistic though because this line is going a little bit different on the Street Fighter mythos in terms of figures. So if they crank out a ton of Street Fighter Alpha 3 characters, start introducing some King of Fighters and maybe even some Darkstalker characters this year, this could be one of my favorite figure lines that we see when I'm starting my nominations for my favorite toy lines and favorite figures in 2025. What do you think? Are you looking forward to getting these figures? Are you fine sticking with Jada Toys saying I've been burned one time too many by Storm Collectibles? No, thank you. We'll see. This should be a really interesting competition. So we'll see how the year wraps up and where it all plays out. But for now, thank you so much for watching. This episode of Lyle's Figure Files has been filed.